Okay, we are learning the Dalet Amid Beis. In Yoma, we are discussing a machlekes, Rabbi Yisrael Galili and Rabbi Akiva and other Tanoim. Let's just recap from the bottom of Dalet Amid Aleph. Tanaka is the Rish Lakish. We bring a Rai now as a Rai to Rish Lakish. We're learning machlekes here between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan says that we learn the Prisha of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur from the Miluim. And Rish Lakish says we learn the Prisha of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur from Har Sinai. So the Gemara says we have a Brisa. The Gemara on the Avdalah brought a Brisa that was a Rai to Rabbi Yochanan, and now the Gemara brings a Brisa that's a Rai to Rabbi Yossi, to Rish Lakish. Then it comes to Rish Lakish. Moshe Allah ba'anan v'niskasa ba'anan v'niskadish ba'anan k'dei l'kabel Torah l'Yisrael b'kedusha. Moshe went into the Aron, was covered by the Aron, and was niskadish, became sanctified in the cloud, in order to receive the Torah for Klal Yisrael b'kedusha. Shenamar, like the pasuk says, "Vayishkan kaved Hashem al Har Sinai, ze hoya ma'isa achar seres dibros sheyutchilu la'arba'im yom divrei Rabbi Yossi HaGalili." So Matan Torah, according to Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, there was Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and then Moshe was going up and down on the mountain on during Sivan, and then they got the Torah. We'll see what day on Amud Beis, either on Vav or Zion, and then Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to the mountain. The mountain covers him for 6 days. The cloud covers him, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls him, and he goes in to be with the Shechina. And that is where Rish Lakish learns from this Rabbi Yisrael Galili that in order to anybody, the Gemara says, Shekol Nichnas b'Machne Shechina, anyone's going to enter in Machne Shechina, Ton Prisha, Shisha needs to be perished first for 6 days. That's what we see from Rabbi Yisrael Galili based on what happened. Rabbi Akiva now. Rabbi Akiva argues on Rabbi Yisrael Galili, and he says, "Nah, this pasuk is talking about from Rosh Chodesh Sivan. This is from Rosh Chodesh, top of Dal Amud Beis. And the mountain was covered by a cloud. Vayikra el Moshe, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls to Moshe, V'chal Yisrael, and to everybody else as well. And everybody's standing there. So why does it say if everybody was there? Also, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was calling to everybody. This is Matan Torah. So why does it only say Moshe? Says the Gemara, the Torah is giving cover to Moshe. Even though everybody's being called, the Kriya was to everybody. It specifically says to Moshe to give cover to Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, says Gemara, Reb Nassan Amar. Reb Nassan says, Rashi says, he really holds like Rabbi Yisrael Galili, that this happened after Matan Torah. But the purpose was not because you need Prisha. The purpose was to clean Moshe out, that he should be mamish like a malach. Rabbi Nassan Amar loy ba hakasav el lamarek achila v'shtiya shebemeyav l'shumai kemalchei asharis. The purpose here was to clean Moshe's system out, that he should be mamish like a malach, that has nothing inside of him, no food, and now he is ready to be going to the Shekhinah. But this is something that Moshe Rabbeinu was able to do and did, not that everybody does. So that is why this is not a source for Rish Lakish. Rav Masih ben Chorish Omer, Leibach Kasav El La'ayim Alav K'dei Shetei Torah Nitnes Be'ema Bereses Ubeziyah. This again is like Rabbi Yisrael Galili, and this happened after Matan Torah. This is when Moshe was going up onto the mountain. And the purpose of this prisha of being in the cloud was not, again, to learn from because he's going in, but la'ayim alav, that he should have a certain yira, because Torah needs to be given be'ema, with fear. Beresis is with shivering, ubeziyah, that's quivering. You got to be in a state of yira to receive the Torah. Shnemer, as the pasuk says, "Ivdu es Hashem b'yira," serve Hashem with yira, v'gilu b'ra'ada, and be joyous with trembling. That's a stira. Frak Gemara, my gilu b'ra'ada. What does that mean? Amar ba'ada bar masna amara b'makan gila sham tehei ra'ada. In the place of gila, in the place of rejoicing, that's where there should be trembling. Now, where was this place of gila? Rashi says, you know what the place of gila is? Har Sinai, when you got the Torah. Matan Torah shaluches. In order to receive the luchas, there had to be there needed to be Gila, because when the Luchas were going to come down, that was going to be an amazing Yom Tif. Yud Zayin B'Tammuz was supposed to be a Yom Tif. There was Gila, but in order to reach that Gila, there needed to be Yira. How do you know that giving of the Torah with the Luchas was Gila? Because the pasuk says, "B'kudei Hashem Yisharim Misam Chilev." The commandments of Hashem are straight and they gladden the heart. So Torah is gavaldik. It's misameach. It's gila, but that kind of come together with ru'ada. That's why Moshe had to be in seclusion by himself for a week before he went to get the luchos. Now it's interesting. Tosfos brings a different source for this. You look at the top Tosfos. B'makam gila k'dechsiv oiz v'chedra b'makaymai. Makam Gila is referring to a Kadosh Baruch Hu's place. There's Gila, the pasuk says, Oiz v'chedva, strength and joy and chedva are in his place. So why a different source? This is a little interesting. So somebody picked up on this. I saw in the notes here in the Dirshu Gemara, they brought a nafkamina between Rashi and Tosfos, and he says, V'nafkamina, I'm reading from the Dirshu Gemara. If you're going to learn like Rashi, so then you can't learn from Sinai. Because it was only on Sinai that needed Moshe to be perished in order to get the Torah, be'ema. But but according to Tosfos that you're learning from Oiz v'chedva b'makaymai, az yesh lamed shekashem shebesinai hu tzarich Moshe lefresh kivan shenechlas l'makam shechina kach kol nechlas l'machna shechina tam prisha. So that's a Gvur Sari. The Gvur Sari says that the nafkamina here between Rashi and Tosfos, are you learning that the b'makam gila is this, that you're getting the Torah, or that you're going to meet Hashem? Is it the gila is the Pekudei Hashem Yishar Misam Chilev? So then that is no shaykhis to anytime you go into meet HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But if you're learning like Tosfos, b'makam gila means that if Moshe was going up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's place with his chedva, so that's why there needs to be Ema, so that l'char you'd be able to learn to the Kohen Gadol going into Machal Shechina. You're going into a Kadosh Baruch Hu's place with this chedva. It's got to be done be'ema. Okay, Gavaldik. So that is the 4 opinions here of what we're learning from the Prisha that happened by Moshe. Was that, first of all, according to Derech Eretz, that was after Matan Torah, and that was just like Moshe did it. Everybody's got it. Anytime you're coming into the Machna Shechina, you need to have Prisha. Rabbi Akiva says, no, this whole story happened before Matan Torah, and this is to all the Jewish people, and it wasn't specifically Moshe that there was Perish. Moshe was going up and down on the mountain. There was no Prisha at all. So that's no source for Rish Lakish. And then we have Ramasi Bacharish, who's learning that the point over here was just to clean Moshe out, that he should be like a Malach. And you have last opinion, Ramasi Bacharish, that this was Taka, it was after Matan Torah, but this was because Moshe was going to get the Torah. Okay. But my commitment here basically Rabbi Akiva. Why are they what's their argument based on that? This idea that these psukim of Vayishkan and Vayichasu Anan, did this happen after Matan Torah or before Matan Torah? What is their argument based on? Why does one say one and one say the other? So it says the Gemara. This is actually based on a different machlokes, and that is, when was the Torah given? On Vav Sivan or on Zayin Sivan? This is a sugya in Shabbos Daf Pei Vav and Pei Zayin. Says the Gemara here. The Tanya. We learned in they're arguing about a different machlokes Tanai. The Tanya learned in a brayso. The Tanakama says that on the 6th day of Sivan, the Torah was given to the Jewish people. Rabbi Yossi Emer b'Shiva, but it was on the 7th. Now, just so you know, everybody agrees that they got to Sinai on a Sunday, and the Torah was given on Shabbos. The machlokes is, when was Rosh Chodesh? Okay. Says the Gemara. Okay. Man b'shisha. So if you hold that the 6th day was when the Torah was given on Vav Sivan, so then b'shisha nitna, the Torah was given on the 6th day. Ub'shiva Allah, and Moshe went up to the mountain on the 7th day. Skip that. Man b'shiva. But according to the one who holds that the Torah was given on the 7th day of Sivan, so b'shiva nitna, ub'shiva Allah, on that same day, Moshe Rabbeinu went up. D'chsiv vayikra al Moshe v'yem hashvi. Now, it wasn't. That's not the shiva we're talking about. Listen what I mean. Rabbi Seguli Savarla Katanakam. Rabbi Seguli holds like the Tanakam. The Amr Beshisha B'Chodesh Nitna Torah. So the Torah was given on the 6th day of Sivan. Hilkach Zehoya Maisa Acher Aseres Hadibris. So this next story, and the end of Mishpatim, is a whole different Maisa. Vayishkan Kved Hashem al Sinai. This happens after Matan Torah. Vayechaseu ha'anan sheish yamim. The cloud covers the mountain for 6 days, and that was for Moshe Rabbeinu, and that was the pre-show of Moshe Rabbeinu. Vayikra Moshe v'yemashi, and then on the 7th day, which is the 13th day of Sivan, Hashem calls to Moshe l'kabul shar Torah to get the rest of the Torah. Now, why do I say this? Says Rabbi Yisrael. These are if you want to tell me that this actually happened on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, v'chaseu ha'anan lahar v'yikra Moshe v'yemashvi. And Moshe was being called on the 7th day, l'kabule aseres adibris, to receive the aseres adibris, ha'kibule b'shisha. I told you he already got the Torah on the 6th of Sivan. V'estalak anan mishisha, and that would mean that the anan already left on the 6th day because it left after Matan Torah. So that is not going to work for these psukim. The 7th day, there's no cloud anymore. Okay. So that is why Rabbi Seguli holds like the Tanakama, and that is why he holds this whole episode happened after the Torah was already given, after Revelation, and Moshe was going up to get the Luches. Rabbi Akiva Savar like Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Akiva holds like Rabbi Yossi, the second Tana. The Amar B'Shiva B'Chodesh Nitna Torah. Don't be confused by Rabbi Seguli and Rabbi Yossi, two different Tanoim. Rabbi Akiva said like Rabbi Yossi, the Amar B'Shiva B'Chodesh Nitna Torah Yisrael. The Torah was given to Klal Yisrael on the 7th day of the month, and that is what. And the previous days. This I mean the Vayishkain and Vaychaseu ha'anan was talking about the 6 days before that, and Vayikra was when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was giving the Torah to Moshe and to all of Klal Yisrael. And that was on the 7th day of Sivan. So the Shvi'i, according to Rabbi Yossi, is the 7th day of Sivan. The Shvi'i, according to according to the Tanakama, was the 7th day after he was perished for 6 days, which was actually the 13th day of Sivan. Okay. Now the Gemara brings in another Nakuda. We know that Moshe was on the mountain for 40 days. So how does this work out? And we know that he came down on Shavasar B'Tammuz. So how is this going to work out? Bishlam Rabbi Akiva, according to Rabbi Akiva, that's a Mishnah that says on the 17th day of Tammuz the luchas were broken. So I get it. If the Torah was given on the 6th, so then around the 7th, Esron v'arba to Sivan, you have another 24 days in Sivan. V'shitzar de Tammuz, and then you got 16 days in Tammuz, and then he came down on the 17th. So Malu Arba Nim, and that is going to give you 40 days. So that's the 40 days that he was on the mountain. Ubeshivsar b'Tammuz nachas, on the 7th day he came down. So v'asa and v'tavrinu luluchas, and he broke the luchas. El Rabbi Yisrael Lulu the Amar B'Shisha the Prisha. They were after the Torah was given on day 6, according to Rabbi Yisrael Lulu. So then and then there were 6 days of Prisha, and then he only was called up on the 7th day. So how are you going to get edge another 7 days? That's really on the 23rd day or 24th day of Tammuz. Says the Gemara, Damashisha the Prisha, the Arban Dahar at Essen Vitlas B'Tammuz. So that gives you up to the 23rd day of Tammuz. Like Yitru Luchas. Luchas weren't broken until then because you got to add another 7 days. So Amalach Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Aglili, he would tell you, Arban Dahar B'Hadeshisha the Prisha. Moshe was on the mountain, but he was just being perished in a cloud. He didn't go all the way up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but he was on the Har, and therefore you can count that as 40 days away from Klal Yisrael. Great. Amar Mar, says the Gemara, Vayikra Moshe v'Chol Yisrael endim. That was Rabbi Akiva said that this Vayikra Moshe, this calling was done to Moshe and to all of the Yisrael. Right? Vayikra. What does the pasuk actually say? Vishkan Kavod Hashem al Shina v'Yechasehu Anan Sheish Yam v'Yikra El Moshe v'Yem Ashri Mitoich Anan. So he called to Moshe, but it wasn't just to Moshe. The Rabbi Akiva holds that this was said to everybody, and we were just being machal kavod to Moshe Rabbeinu. So it says the Gemara, the Amar Ma'Vayikra El Moshe v'Chol Yisrael Amdim. Everybody, Moshe and everybody was standing together. Misayeh le Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Lazar, Vayikra El Moshe v'Chol Yisrael Amdim. This is Ma'am Rabbi Lazar says, "Because of El L'chal Kavod le Moshe." The pasuk is just coming to bring a proof to Moshe. Okay, so this is another Atana that's going like Rabbi Akiva. Meisive, Frakti Gemara, we have a steer. One pasuk says, Kol loy. The voice was said to Moshe. And another pasuk says, Kol elav. Well, which one is it? Or what's the difference between Kol loy and Kol elav? Kol loy. The Kol elav is mashma that it only went to him. Kol loy sounds like it was a calling to him, but everybody heard it. So what's the difference? Says the Gemara, Moshe Shama v'Chol Yisrael loy shama. Sounds like Kol elav sounds like Moshe heard it, and the rest of the Jews didn't hear it. But now you're telling me that everybody heard the Kol. Says the Gemara, Habedibur Laikasha Habesinai Haba El Mayed. When Moshe was called by Sinai, everybody heard it. When Moshe was called in the El Mayed, only Moshe Rabbeinu heard it. First teretz. Yibaisem, alternatively, a second teretz, Laikasha Habekriya Habedibur. When there was a kriya, everybody heard the kriya. When there was a dibur, when Hashem actually spoke, that only was to Moshe. Rabbi Zerika Rami. Rabbi Zerika asks the stira kamed Rabbi Lazar before Rabbi Lazar. Va'amila Rabbi Zerika Rabbi Lazar Rami. Or Rabbi Zerika said in the name of Rabbi Lazar the stira. One pasuk says V'yachol Moshe lavi el ha'oil mayed kishachan lava anan. Moshe couldn't enter in the oil mayed because the cloud was upon it. So that sounds like when there's a cloud there, Moshe can't come in. Moshe b'toicha anan. And on Sinai it says Moshe came into the cloud. Melamed. And what does that teach you? Hakadosh Baruch Hu grabbed Moshe and brought him in. Well, so which one is it? Can Moshe go in the cloud or not? It says the Rabbi Shmuel Tana Nemer Khan. That's the first teretz. First teretz is you're right. Moshe couldn't go in because Baruch Hu had to grab him in. Second teretz, Rabbi Shmuel Tana Nemer Khan b'teich v'nemer la'alon b'teich. You know what it says b'teich also by the yam. The yavam b'nei Yisrael b'teich hayam. Malalon shvil, just like over there, Hashem made a path for him to go. The water was like a wall. Afkan shvil, Hakadosh Baruch Hu made a pathway through the cloud for Moshe to enter. Vayikra Moshe v'daber lama hiktim kriyel dibur. Why does Hashem have to first call him and then speak to him? The Torah Derech Eretz. The Torah is teaching us the proper way to act. Shlo yemer adam davar lechaveroi el imkein kareu. You don't speak to your friend unless you call him first. First call him, Moshe, and now you can speak to him. That's Derech Eretz. Misayele Rabbi Chanina, and there's a right to Rabbi Chanina. Then Rabbi Chanina, lo yemer adam davar shlechaveri elam kein kareu. You shouldn't speak to your friend without calling him first. So we have a smach now from the Torah. It says Vayikra Vayidaber. Gevaldik. Says the Gemara, another limud. Lamar. What is lamar? Lamar, the Gemara is going to darshan, is like loy omar, don't say. Amar of Musia breder Rab de Brei, of Musia bar breder of Masya, mishmeder of Musia Rabba. So Musia says over, he was a bar brei, he was a grandson of Rav Masya, and he's saying it over in name of Rav Musia Rabba. Okay. Minayin la'omer davar l'chaveri, shehu b'bal yomar. If your friend tells you something and you can tell that he doesn't want you to say it over, even if he doesn't say it, don't say it over, but he told it to you secretly, you're not supposed to say it. But Bal Yemer. You shouldn't say it until he tells you can go say it. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, Vaydaber Hashem elav me'oil mayed lemar. Interesting. The drashi here is Hakadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe lemar, and we darshan the word lemar to mean loy lemar. Loy oimar dvarim. Don't say it unless I give you rishus. It's funny. I would have thought loymar means he's giving him rishus, but that's not the drasha. The drasha is loy oimar. So Okay. Says the Gemara weiter. Okay, you know what? Let's stop here because this really begins the next Gemara. Mirz Hashem, tomorrow night. We'll see you back in Nishmas at 8:40 Be'ezras Hashem.